YouTube and welcome to Sonyabeonit channel. Today we're going to prepare a simple meal that can be served for a light lunch or main course meal. Today's choice meal will be homemade chicken salad using 6 chicken breasts and other ingredients to create the best meal ever. These are the ingredients and cooking utensils that you're going to need in order to prepare the chicken salad. The first thing we have is hard boiled eggs. I have a total of 3 since I actually have 6 chicken breasts. The next thing you're going to use is the meat itself, which is the chicken. We're going to actually trim some of the fat off the chicken. The next thing we're going to use is measuring utensils. We're going to use celery. We have spoons, a knife. We have the Kraft meal. That's to make it creamy. You can use any kind of meal of your choice, really. Season all salt. With the garlic, I would recommend just a pinch of garlic, not a whole lot of garlic. And then we're going to use the onion powder, black pepper, a little of the sweet salad cube juice to add a little sweetness to it. And the utensils that we're going to use to actually chop up the celery, which is part of the modern tradition, the new wave, is the Ninja. I purchased a Ninja and it works very well. And that is everything that we're going to need. Okay ladies, as you can see, I have my hair covered. It's very important when you're cooking to cover your hair so you won't take a chance of the possibility of finding hair inside the food. Let's get started cooking. The first thing we're going to do is take the boiled eggs. We're going to crack them. And this is the proper way to actually relieve the shell from the egg once it's been boiled. That's one shell. And take another one. You're going to rotate your hand around it. And it's going to begin to release it. Release that shell off the egg. And another thing you want to do, let's go ahead and rinse that off to make sure all the shells are off. That's one egg. 2. We're going to take that egg, we're going to slice it in half. If you don't have any sort of blender, you can take this and actually put it inside of a bowl. Just to show a little example, I'll leave that inside that bowl. If you didn't have this blender, you're going to take your fork and you're just going to crush it. You're going to blend it like this. Me personally, I don't like eggs. At least to know that I'm actually eating an egg. I eat it blended inside of something. I took all 3 eggs and I actually applied it inside of the blender. The next thing I'm going to do, is take the celery. This is 1 stem of a celery. We're not going to use the top portion. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. And we're going to cut the white bulky part off too. I'm going to cut that off, discard it. Discard the top. We're going to cut them up in cubes. 1, 2, 3. I actually want to take 2 since I actually have 6 chicken breasts. I've cut the top off this and the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and say 1, 2, 3. Keep in mind now, if you don't have this type of blender or anything to blend the ingredients up, certain ingredients as I've showed you, the eggs and the celery, old traditional way, you would take that celery, do it like that, and you would dice it. Same thing, you're just doing it by hand. You would dice it. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and apply the top to that. Attach the top part of the Ninja to the top. Let's go ahead and get this out the way because we're finished with that. And I'm going to give it 2 or 3 pumps. Okay, as you can see, all those ingredients are blended very fine. And if you don't want it that fine, you don't have to. I give you another option of adding another type vegetable, which is like a green pepper. But my kids really don't like that. And there's only a few people within the household that's going to eat it anyway. There you go. You have your eggs and you actually have your celery. We're going to come over to this chicken breast. I've washed my hand already. As you can see, it has additional fat on the chicken breast. We're going to trim that. And this is the knife that I like to use. If you have kitchen shears, you can use that. That works just as well. I just don't like, even when I fry chicken breast. And as you can see, I've taken that chicken breast and I've taken the excess of fat off, leave it to the side. The next thing we're going to do, all the seasoning in which I mentioned, we're going to begin to add those seasons. With the onion powder, I use 1 tablespoon. This is 1 tablespoon of onion powder. The next thing I used was the all-purpose seasoned salt, which I use 1 tablespoon of that also. With the garlic, I only use a pinch of garlic. That is less than what will actually come out of here. So if that means you have to go over your sink and just sprinkle a little bit, you're just going to use that pinch over that first finger and your thumb, your index finger and your thumb, and you're going to sprinkle inside of it. The next thing I used was black pepper. The black pepper, you're actually going to use 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And what I want you to do, since you're just starting out, I want you to take all those dry season, and put it inside of a bowl. And I want you to mix it this way. Just blend them evenly all over in the bowl until you become until you become good at actually knowing how to sprinkle each individual season on your meat. Once you have done that, put this out the way. This is the chicken breast that we just trimmed all the fat off. You're going to take your fingers and you're going to gather some season and lightly just sprinkle that over the top. You see that? That's the discarded part. We're going to actually get rid of that. But see how evenly I just put all the season that was mixed in the bowl? So that way I won't have too much black pepper here, too much onion powder, too much garlic. It's been sprinkled all over the top. You're going to flip it on the opposite side. Take a little bit more season and sprinkle. Just go over evenly. Okay, once you have completed that, now what I have done is I have went ahead and seasoned 6 chicken breasts. After you season all your chicken breasts, I want you to take a glass pan or whatever kind of pan container you have, and you're going to line them up in your pan. Now, you have the option of actually cooking this inside of your oven on 350 for 20 minutes, or in my case, I have a convention oven that I use. Once you have completed seasoning your meat, you have the option of actually cooking this meal in a convention oven or the actual stove. If you're going to cook it in a convention oven, if you don't have this, just put this. If you don't have this, this is a must have, because even your smallest kid can operate this. You put a certain time. I'm going to put this on bake, and then I'm going to press. Usually it has a timer already set in it to what degree you want, but if you want it higher than 350, you can do that. But I'm just going to set this on 350 for 20 minutes. Walk away. When it beeps, it's going to be ready. The same thing for the stove. You can put it in the stove for 20 minutes. These are the breasts that I use. These are the chicken breasts that I use. You're going to put it in your pan. Add a 1/2 cup of water. It's either going to go in the convention oven if you have one on 350 for 20 minutes, or it's going to actually go in the oven on 350 for 20 minutes. Now, I already cooked this. Now, this is something that's actually going to have to be done by hand. Let me get my special knife for that. As you can see, I went ahead and I've already prepared 6 chicken breasts inside my convention oven. They're ready. They may look a little dry, but they're going to be okay. You're going to take the chicken breast. I like doing this part by hand. You can blend it in a blender, but you don't want your food like baby food. So I would take that chicken breast and begin to cut it in chunks. It's going to create its own juice. It's going to be like a broth. It's going to create from the chicken. Remember, once it's seasoned, put it in your favorite pan. Put a 1/2 cup of water with it, and you bake it on 350 for about 20 minutes. Chicken breasts really don't take that long, especially when you're baking. Okay, this is the last of the chicken. Okay, say for instance, with this pan, I have a little juice left. I'm going to pour that in there to give it a little flavor. And it has some of my seasoning on it. Okay, remember earlier we blended the egg and the celery? We're going to go ahead and, if you want to use it all, you can. That's enough for me. I'm gonna mix it up kind of good. We're close to the end, and this meal is only going to take you probably about a good 30 minutes, if that. We're going to take the sweet pickle. You can either do this, you can take it And this is probably about a tablespoon. You can pour the juice in, or you can add, if you like sweet pickles, you can add about a tablespoon. Really 2. Let's go with almost 2. The last thing we need to do, I'm gonna rinse that spoon off. Now this is the part we talked about. This is to your preference. If you want it to be real creamy, if you want it to be light, if you want to use light mayo, whatever you want to use, that's your choice. But we like ours real creamy. And we're going to take a bigger spoon because it's not big enough. Let's use this one. And we're going to mix all that together. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can serve this sort of warm, or you can serve it cold. Okay, so here you have the finished product. That's it. We're going to garnish it a little bit more for appearance wise with some black pepper and a little bit of sprinkled seasoned salt. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and place this in the refrigerator for probably about 10 minutes. That would give me time to cook a side dish to go with this. Now you can serve this on some bread. You can eat it by itself with crackers. I'm actually going to fry some dill pickles to go with it as a side dish. That's the finished product. We're going to go ahead and place it in the refrigerator for about 10-15 minutes while I prepare the fried dill pickles. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually fry some dill pickles. I have a cup of self-rising flour, 1 cup. I'm going to pour that into the bowl like so. Okay, as you can see, I've taken out some dill pickles. I'm going to go ahead, get my fork, and I'm going to pour them in. If the juice weighs in, that's fine. Okay, what you're going to do, you're going to make sure they're coated. However many pickles you want to cook. Now, one thing about pickles, you don't want to put any season whatsoever because it's high in sodium. And if you add any seasoned salt, it's going to be just too much. I do not, personally, I don't cook with salt at all because I feel as though the seasoned salt and all these other seasons, they have some sort of salt inside of it. So with this, I'm just going to coat it like so with just some plain flour. That's it. They're coated. I like little chips. Let's see. That's a pickle. I'm going to take it over to the stove, which I have my grease actually heating up. And that's it. Let's take it over to the stove. Since the pickles are actually coated, I'm going to take my hand and dust some of the flour off and just dump them in the grease. Shake it off, dump. And let those fry on a high setting of 6 for a gas oven. It only takes about 3 minutes to cook. We're gonna let those absorb some of that grease right quick. Last coating is going to be a little black pepper. Isn't that pretty? Hey, this is gonna be our side dish without chicken salad. And now the final results. We have 1 plate that's dressed with just the chicken salad, crackers, a fresh cold pickle, and lemons. Anytime that I prepare a meal, you're always going to find lemons. And the reason being is, after you eat your food, you don't want that taste to linger in your mouth. So with a squeeze of lemon in your mouth, it's going to dissolve that taste. Dill pickle that was coated in flour and actually deep fried. We have a sandwich that actually is toast. It's an onion roll bun. That's toast with the chicken salad inside. And you have 2 lemons off to the side. So I hope you have enjoyed the time we have shared together in making this homemade chicken salad.